for tuning in. Welcome to the Swish. Thanks for checking us out. I'm your host, Ivan Mora, and my co-host, Rafael Nieto, unfortunately couldn't be here today, but we will definitely catch him on the next episode. So, guys, I'm excited. Today, I have this guest. He is a writer and NBA content creator. He is the creator of the website Simply Ballin. You should definitely check that out. And he is a writer for SB Nation's Miami Heat website, Hot Hoops, and the Miami Heat Beat. I met him back when we both wrote for All You Can Heat over there at Fansided. So I'm excited to have him on. Welcome to the Swish, John Jablonka. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for being here. Right off the bat, whenever we start these interviews and talking about the NBA playoffs and everything, I always like to just go straight to where just basic info, so all of our listeners can know a little bit about you. Where are you from? How long have you been a Heat fan? And just a little backstory on all that.
Well, I'm from the UK, and I've been a Heat fan for around 6-7 years now. I started following basketball roughly during a Big Three era, but not much. I actually didn't follow Heat back then. I started watching the Clippers because of Jamal Crawford and Chris Paul. Got into basketball more since like 2018, 2017. That's when I started watching actual games rather than just highlights. And for over 2 years, it's just been more content creation, more writing out about basketball.
Oh, nice. So you were a Clippers fan in the Chris Paul era. What was that? Probably 2008, 2009, or no, 2010 and on, right? Around there?
2012, 2013.
2012, 2013.
Yeah, I wasn't much of a Clippers fan. I was just more of a Chris Paul fan.
Yeah. Do you still follow Chris Paul? I mean, now
Yeah.
they have a good team, but with Devin Booker out, that's kind of hard. But have you been following them?
Yeah, I just always enjoyed Chris Paul's play. And another stupid reason was because he was wearing number 3, and that was my number in school when I was playing for the teams.
Oh, nice. So you played basketball when you were little?
Pardon?
You played basketball when you were little?
Yeah, I played basketball for my school team and outside of school. Then played a bit, and I'm still playing like roughly in college, kind of.
Oh, okay, nice. I actually, number 3 is my favorite number also because of Dwayne Wade. I've been a Heat fan since 2003 when Wade got drafted from Marquette. And I think the only year I followed college basketball. And yes, shout out to my friend Julio Vasquez, who always reminds me that he's the one that introduced me with Dwayne Wade. But that year I saw him, and since then I've been a huge Heat fan. And yeah, number 3 is my number also. So we have that in common. You've been writing for a while, Fansided. I remember some articles there, some great articles in All You Can Heat. And now you're with SB Nation, Hot Hoops. You're also with the Miami Heat Beat, which is a great website. Anyone that's a huge fan that wants to get into some of the content and coverage for the Miami Heat, definitely check them out. They're good sources. I always like to talk about how everyone got their start. So how long have you been with both Hot Hoops and Miami Heat Beat? And when did you start for Simply Ballin'? And also, where do you have the time to do all that?
Well, I actually haven't been writing for the Heat Beat much. I started like last week. My first piece came for Game 1 for the playoffs, and for Hot Hoops for the SB Nation, that also came around recently. I think January. That's when I started writing. Mostly, I started first writing for Fansided, and I was actually looking at the dates. It was exactly 3 years ago. I started in April 2019.
Oh, nice.
But the whole starting my writing, that came when I was still in school. That was like 17, 18. I started writing for this basketball at Hardwood Amino. Not sure if you heard about it. Started blogging, writing blogs down there. Then I found Fansided. Pardon?
I'm sorry, did you study that? Was that something that was that a major of yours in college, or?
I had no plan of anything, any interest or go. I wasn't even interested like sports media, all that stuff. I like the Heat, I like the sports. I was thinking of just going to like cap experts, that kind of stuff, front office stuff.
Okay.
But then my interest grew as I just started writing more and more. Then, especially with Fansided, that helped me grow as a writer. And then I think it was like last year I started my own website just to write words whenever I want to.
Yeah.
And now is growing more into like I want this to be my career kind of thing.
Yeah, I get you. I started writing for Fansided back in 2015, covering the San Antonio Spurs, and I gotta say, I mean, I've written for a lot of some other like entertainment websites, Hidden Remote, and Hoops Habit, and I'm a huge fan of Fansided. I really like their layout, their setup, the community. It's great. I mean, honestly, I wish more people would check them out or even hear about them.
Yeah, Fansided, like All You Can Heat and Hoops Habit with my main websites that I've been writing for like over 2 years. I only stopped writing for them like a year ago. Then I moved on to just doing my own thing, and I recently just for SP Miami Heat Beat.
Awesome, that's great. What triggered? Well, I mean, this goes hand in hand with what we talked about. So you said you just started writing a couple of years ago, like around 2018, 2019. What triggered that? Was there something that caused you to be like, you know what, this is something that I want to do? Would you blog about just like other sports, or what caused your passion for writing to start? Like, how did it come about?
It started because we had a snowstorm and we had like a call. So I just downloaded this app, Hardwood Amino, and it's like on that app it involved many people just blogging for fun. Where like there was like leagues. It was built by like teenagers kind of thing, and I just enjoyed writing about basketball. And that's where I just enjoyed reading more about basketball, watching more basketball, and then from then on, I just liked doing all that kind of stuff, just the creative writing up all the articles. But it wasn't until this season where I thought that this is what I love to do, and just dive into more basketball specific stuff, more X's and down plays. It's happened this year, and that's when I realized that I want to do this in the future.
Awesome. So that week off definitely helped you, and I'm assuming boredom.
Yeah,
and that definitely helped. You said there was an app that you would write in, or did I hear that correctly?
Yeah, it was an app, a Hardwood Amino.
Oh, okay, cool. And were you alone in this? Did you have friends that also like to write, or was it just something that you and your friends would talk about?
Definitely didn't have any friends from around here because basketball is not a UK thing. You will not meet people. But I was in the Hardwood Amino, that was a community in itself. So you had plenty of people that did that own thing. And plenty of people from there moved on to Fansided and moved on to SB Nation as well.
That's good. SB Nation, that community is also good. It's like Fansided. They have a pretty big community, and they always help new writers and try to get your work out there, try to get your name out there, your voice and your opinion. So I definitely appreciate those opportunities that they're giving new writers. Let's talk about the Miami Heat. At the time of this recording, it is April 26th of this year, 2022, and the Miami Heat look to close out the series against the Atlanta Hawks tonight in a Game 5 back in Miami. What have you thought of Miami's performance so far, their defense more than anything, and their latest Game 4 dominant win? I don't want to talk about Game 3, that loss, because I think those last two plays were just horribly set up. But let's talk about their Sunday's Game 4 performance, and what have you thought about their defense?
Yeah, the defense has been key in this series. They completely made Trae Young look worse than Kendrick Nunn has been. They game plan for him exactly how they meant to do. He can't do anything in the paint. He can't do anything out of the pick and rolls. And the other guys aren't beating you either. So because of the rotation, everyone is still rotating, contesting shots. This has been one of the best defensives I've seen all all year long, and it's brought by having a defensive player of the year, Bam. He's part of that.
He got robbed. You agree with me? He got robbed. At least as a finalist. It's crazy that he wasn't in the top 3. That's something that I knew they probably wouldn't. He wouldn't get the recognition and he wouldn't win it. I thought Marcus Smart did a good job, but I mean, it all happened when Robert Williams went down. So that, to me, that kind of doesn't really count because he was out. Or not out, but he wasn't the primary defensive unit there. But Bam not getting the top 3 finalist spot was that kind of pissed me off. What do you think?
Yeah, and the quick thing about the Robert Williams thing. Well, whenever I was talking about the turnaround Boston had in January,
yeah,
everything about the defense was going back to Robert Williams as a free safety. I've read so many stuff praising Robert Williams, so I don't see how you can just switch. Yeah, Robert's down, so that means Marcus Smart's the defensive player of the year. You can't have 2 defensive player of the years on the same team.
That's true.
And as for Bam, the only argument I see against him is games played. But people are making arguments against him for other reasons, which makes no sense. The only reason he shouldn't be a finalist is because of playing 56 games, and that's it.
Yeah, because Bam was out. He only played 56, or he was out 56?
I think he only played around 56.
Yeah, he only played about 56. For anyone out there that doesn't know why, Bam had a surgery on his thumb, right? He had to repair ligaments. And it's something similar to what Joel Embiid is going through right now, that he's going to play through the pain. So we'll see how that works out for him. But I understand that sense. But then to give it to Marcus Smart, which, like you said, Robert Williams was in consideration, and then he gets injured, and now Marcus Smart plays probably the same amount of games that Bam played after his injury, and you still don't consider Bam. I don't know that. I mean, if anything, it gives him motivation. It probably will give him motivation to see how they continue to play in these playoffs. What have you seen? What have you liked more from Bam Adebayo? I think he needs to be more aggressive offensively. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know what's been going on with Bam on the offensive side. I don't know if it's something wrong with him, like an injury, because there are, I think, a couple of plays like early on in the series where he had dunks open for him and he didn't do anything. He had like many lobs opportunities and couldn't dunk.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if it's just the offense not getting him involved, or him don't want to get himself involved in the offense. Maybe it is. I heard some arguments because he had COVID, that's slowing him down as well. But yeah, because he's not looking well on that end.
Yeah, and I mean, I actually kind of understand that. I got COVID at the beginning of the year. I mean, obviously, my condition is nowhere near the NBA athletes or anything, but a lot of my friends who got it afterwards, they were really fatigued, and to get back to like the point that they were at, myself included, I felt that it took a while. I guess you could put that some on Bam, because he was out right before the NBA playoffs start, round 1. So, I mean, hopefully we'll see more of him. But his defense has been amazing. I remember that game 4 that you had Trae Young, and you talked about this in one of your articles, how Trae had Bam defending him out on the wing, and then it was a switch. And then, it was PJ Tucker first,
Yeah.
and then he switched to Bam, and then he switched to Jimmy Butler. So that defensive wall, it's not talked about that much. I mean, that defensive effort, this is what's winning games for us right now.
Yeah, and having 3 to 4, and now Oladipo as well, having those lengthy wings is going to be key for the rest of the playoffs. You still have Tatum and Brown, Giannis, Middleton, Drew, that will require all that kind of help. And you will have 4 or 5 guys that can get you those kind of stops. And even Strus recently, he's been making progress on the defensive end.
Have you liked that switch, Strus now being in the starting lineup?
Yeah, I didn't mind that, especially with Duncan struggling. And I think before I still said Duncan was the better offensive player. But we've seen, like, from Hero, it's not all about who's the better player that should be starting. It all depends on the chemistry, on the rotations. Clearly, they wanted Struess in the starting lineup because that worked for other guys. It worked for Duncan coming off the bench, and it's clearly working. So there's no reason to change something that's not working.
I know. So in these games, and obviously throughout the whole season, we both, I mean, I think we would both agree that Jimmy Butler and Kyle Lowry are the leaders and floor generals for this Heat team going into the playoffs. Or actually, at the start of these first four games, with the exception of Game 3, but that was only towards the end, so they still had a pretty solid run to catch up. So the success of hopefully what we could expect a conference finals and hopefully a finals run, it's going to rely heavily on them, but also on the future of how Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero play. What do we need to see from Tyler Hero, in your opinion, for this team to really cruise by, hopefully to a second round and hopefully conference finals?
We just need Hero to be the same Hero he's been all year long. We need that sixth man of the year. He's been missing just open looks. I think last time I checked, he was like shooting sub 40% on open shots, on open wide open shots. I think someone else pointed out that he's still shooting well from the mid range, but he just doesn't look in rhythm. And I'm not sure if that's more Hero not getting it done or just not factoring him on offense because Butler's making it work. Like it works for other people right now, so I don't know how you get Tyler going without disrupting that kind of rhythm.
He had a pretty bad game four, but they were rolling. So honestly, I think he just played his role just as a facilitator more than anything. He only finished with 3 points, 1 assist, and he shot 1 from 8 from the field goal. But when you have Jimmy Butler going for 36 points and a great defense covering and limiting Trey to I think he shot 1 or 2 of 10, something like that. So it was a pretty good performance from the Miami Heat defense. So you not that you don't need Tyler Hero, you definitely do. But when you have Jimmy playing like that, you better just let him do his thing to close it out for us.
Yeah.
What do you think? What did you think of Victor Oladipo? I've been a huge Oladipo fan for a while. I was excited when they traded for him in the trade deadline a year ago, and I was pretty sad when he had his knee surgery. But I'm actually happy now that he's back and he's getting acclimated back into the conditioning and the playoff rotation and just playing time. What did you see in these playoff minutes from him? And were you surprised at his performance, or was it exactly what you expected from Oladipo?
I expected that kind of effort on the defensive end. I wasn't sure what to expect from him on the offense with everyone else because, like you said, he hasn't been playing with us that long. I'm not sure how many minutes he played together with like Bam and Jimmy. So it obviously takes time to just get used to the rotation, get used to the guys, and you just can't insert a guy out of nowhere into the playoffs and expect him to be in rhythm. He still gave you what was needed. But I still don't think he would have played if Lowry was healthy or even if Duncan and Hero played well. I still think he played because it was it was an emergency kind of thing. Duncan was playing bad. He had foul troubles. Hero's off. Caleb didn't look right. So then you had to insert Depot in there.
Yeah, well, in game four, he didn't finish with a lot of points. He had 6 points. He had 4 assists. But what was impressive to me was his defense. He knew exactly where the position was going to be. He had 8 rebounds. He got into the rhythm pretty quickly, which was good, and he was a plus 28 for the game. Now, you make a great point. The only reason we saw him was because of the injury to Kyle Lowry. But my opinion, and you may disagree with me here, but what I want to know is, because I've been asking a lot of Heat fans also this, is there a point that he might get the nod over Duncan Robinson or maybe over Caleb Martin? Because the potential is there. He has great defense, even at times when we need him the most. But now that because of Duncan Robinson being a great shooter and that just offensive boost that him and Tyler Hero provide off the bench, do you think we'll ever see something like that? Maybe Oladipo getting the nod over Robinson and Martin?
I'm leaning no. Um, so I think I've not tweeted out recently the Heat with one of like Max or Duncan, like plus 14, plus 10 or something like that. But when it's without Max or Duncan, they're -9. So they need at least one of the shooters.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's fair to rely on Max for 48 minutes. So he needs to have rest. And I don't think replacing Max with Depot is a good thing, especially because we need that spacing with Jimmy or Bam. So I think Duncan's rotation will carry on as it has been. Short leash. If he's hot, you'll see a game one performance. If he's bad, then you'll see more Caleb, more Strus, and maybe more Depot minutes.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's a great problem to have because we have good role players and good support. That the rotation is we don't have a lack of rotation players to fill that gap. I wish the only reason why is because Oladipo's kind of showing his worth, and I feel like maybe in the off season it might have some issues with who are we going to pay or who are the Miami going to pay, who are they not. Tyler Hero definitely has to be on top of their list to keep him there, and I just honestly don't want to see him leave, but I'm getting ahead of myself, so we'll see how this playoff series goes. I wanted to get your prediction for, let's say, this series, which is obviously a pretty obvious one. You think they'll close it out tonight in Game 5?
Yeah, it's always Heat in 5. Whatever the series is always Heat in 5.
Awesome, I love it. Love that confidence, that enthusiasm. So let's talk a little bit about the NBA in general, the playoffs. What did you think of last night's Celtics sweep of the Nets and a potential Milwaukee Bucks Boston Celtics matchup, which I think is going to be great?
Yeah, I've been surprised by the Celtics sweep against the Nets because it's Kevin Durant, it's Kyrie. Like, we know the Boston team is a better team than them, but he's still KD. He still should have gave you more than he should have even against this defense. For the Bucks and the Celtics, that's a tough one. I think I'm leaning more towards the Bucks, but then there's the Middleton injury, so I'm not sure when he's back or not. And the Celtics defense could give Giannis issues as well. And if there's no Middleton, I don't know what other options they would have to go to.
Well, when I saw the injury to Middleton happen, I think it was in Game 2 of the matchup, I immediately thought, you know what? I'm a betting man. I kind of gamble from time to time on games. So I saw Game 3 and I was like, you know what? I'm going to go on the Bulls just because of this recent injury and see how the Bucks kind of work themselves to see how they're going to proceed without Middleton, how the offense is going to run. And honestly, they proved me wrong, and they won that game. And now they're up 3-1. And Giannis is just insane. He to me, in my opinion, it's maybe a tie, but I would give it a little bit more to him between him and Luka for the best players right now in the league because he's just been unstoppable. I also agree that it's going to be hard for them to go up against the Boston Celtics defense without their second scorer. Middleton was a 28-8 guy during the season, so he's definitely going to be missed. I want to, before we get into that real quick, I also agree that it was crazy that the Knicks got swept. Do you think Kyrie, I'm glad he's kind of owning up to it, that the whole vaccine issue, that it was a distraction for his players, and it was. And the fact that he was part-time was honestly a major, major issue with him. Do you think if he would have been back full-time, we might have seen a different outcome?
Well, if he was healthy, if he was just playing full-time, then I think we definitely see them not even in the play. We would see them around that 6 range. They'd probably overtake the Bulls. Because Kyrie and the rest of the team would still be capable of winning some games. And towards the end of the season, I think Kyrie's problem was because he wasn't playing, so he was tired because he was just playing part time. He didn't have the conditioning of playing regularly. So if he didn't have that problem, we would probably see the normal Kyrie we used to.
And maybe they would still have that big three with Harden in there, because I know that was one of the issues that Harden just didn't want to have a part-time player. I don't know how true those comments are, but that's what something that I'd read online. Maybe they would still have that big three. Maybe they would have made a bigger splash and a top seed in the East.
Mm.
I think Celtics was just out for revenge from last year. They lost to the Nets in the first round 4-1. So I think they just turned their season around. So I don't want to talk about the Nets anymore because what a disaster of a season for
Yeah,
them.
we're not ESPN here.
Yeah, exactly. And Ben Simmons, everyone can pretty much agree that that was just horrible also on his end, that he just didn't come back at least one game now. But let's talk about Celtics Bucks. That Celtics defense is going to be a lot of work for Giannis. I still think the Bucks, reigning champs, will come out victorious, but I don't know if I were to predict, probably six. What do you think?
Yeah, I'll probably have Bucks and six. When you look at the Celtics offense, people have been saying like they've taken care of the Nets, but the Nets defense isn't exactly screaming great defense. And then you have to go against Giannis, Brook, Drew, and all those kind of lengthy defenders. So I don't know if the Boston would like if their offense would go against Bucks. I don't think they would match up well. Maybe the defense will be enough to contain Giannis, but then you'd also get beat by other guys.
And I think Marcus Smart is gonna contest Drew Holiday pretty well. I'm not a Marcus Smart fan, but he has been surprising me, and he has been how can I say, he's been hitting his spots well. He knows how the defense is working, and it's been great. And Jason Tatum, I'm a Jaylen Brown fan, but Jason Tatum's been just incredible. He's on another level right now. I think that if Celtics make it past the Bucks and hopefully Heat do too, I'm hoping that's fingers crossed. It's gonna be tough. Another what is it? 2019 conference finals rematch, and I think the outcome might be a little bit different. But so we both agreed Bucks will probably still take it, even without Middleton. That's saying a lot out of this Bucks team.
Yeah, they're still the defending champs, and I don't think you can take much from the regular season because they were without Brook, and I think even last year they just took it down a notch in the regular season and improved and increased their play in the playoffs.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll see that's probably going to be an obvious choice that Milwaukee closes it out. They also play tonight against the Bulls, and the Bulls, as much as we've loved watching them, I've actually been pleasantly surprised with them, and I've been excited to watch them play. But Lonzo's out, and Bucks defense has just been too much for them to handle.
Yeah, and I don't think I was much of a Bulls fan. I've been calling them frauds all season long.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't think they were going to do anything in the regular season nor the playoffs. I wasn't high on them at all.
Okay, yeah. A lot of people, when they had their hot start, they're already riding them to the conference finals, and everyone's saying, wait, like, don't get ahead of yourself. It's barely the first year. So they ended up a good season because I really think Bucks are going to close it out tonight. So if this is the last game for them, I would say it's a success, pretty good season. They'll have them back next year as well. Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan, Lonzo. So I think they'll have a bright future. So let's talk about the West because it's also been great playoff atmosphere over there. Crazy games. Mavs are looking great with Luka back. In one of my earlier episodes of the Swish, I actually predicted a bold Mavs NBA Finals run, which could still happen because of the injuries to to Devin Booker and John Morant still looking. I feel like maybe he's dealing with something, but he's playing through the pain. That's just me. I don't know. The Warriors, though, they're looking. They have great competitive advantage. They're looking like the old Warriors, like the 2018, 2019 Warriors. And obviously, you can't count out the Memphis Grizzlies, even though they're tied 2-2 with the Timberwolves. And Suns with Booker out. If he's out for more, then I mean, let's see if they get through the Pelicans first because they're tied 2-2 and they play tonight. But if he's out for more than the second round, then that's going to be an issue for them. What are your thoughts out on the West? Who do you like? What have you liked? And what are your predictions out there?
If everyone was healthy, I would have liked the Suns. I was thinking Suns, Warriors, and probably lean Warriors in 7. I still think the Warriors get out of their West quite comfortably. But I think it all depends on the injuries to the Suns. If Booker's still not playing, I think Chris Paul managed to get hurt or something like that. They could get bounced in the second round. I still think they would beat Pels, even without Booker.
Yeah.
The Mavs, they've been looking. I'm actually just watching the games right now. Jalen Brunson has been really good. He's still one of the top scorers in the league in the playoffs. And now with Luka just getting his groove back, I wouldn't count them out. But I still think it's Warriors' thing to lose. I think they're the favourites.
Okay, nice. Because the Warriors on their side of the bracket, if they get past the Nuggets, if I'm calling this correctly, which I hope I am, I hope I'm not messing it up, but they would go against the winners of the Suns Pelicans actually. So let me just make sure. I don't want to mess this up right now. Yeah, they would. Oh no, actually no, my mistake. They would go against. You're right. They would go against the winners of Memphis, Minnesota. You think Minnesota has a chance? Nah, Memphis will probably.
I don't think they have a chance to.
And then Dallas. If it ends up being Dallas, Phoenix with Booker back, that's gonna be a hell of a conference semis.
That's a 6-7 game series.
Yeah, for sure. So our final question here to end this great interview, and thank you again for coming out. It's just something switching gears a little bit. It's a fun segment here that we do, and I don't even know if you're a huge movie guy, but what is your favorite basketball related movie?
I was just gonna say I'm not a huge movie fan. I don't watch many movies, but if there's one basketball film, it is Coach Carter. That's the only film of how many basketball movies? Yeah, I think it's Coach Carter and Space Jam, the only proper basketball movies I've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll definitely have to say Coach Carter.
Yeah, I think it's very underrated. I really liked it, even though, because I'm a huge movie guy. I'm the opposite. I watch I don't know how many movies a week, and Samuel Jackson's just one of those that he just comes out in every single movie. So a lot of people don't like him, but yeah, I agree. I actually think it's a very underrated movie, and I think more people should check it out. It's a really great movie.
You got any recommendations for other basketball movies?
What's up?
You got any other recommendations?
Hoosiers. It's an old movie with Gene Hackman. If you ever get a chance to watch it, that's a great movie to catch. And also, this is more of a funny movie than anything. It's not like a Coach Carter or Hoosiers, but The Sixth Man is also pretty funny with the Wayans brothers. That's a pretty good movie to catch if you're ever bored one day. Just look it up. It's all right. It's entertaining.
Quick, if you're not talking about basketball films, Moneyball was the best sports movie I've seen.
Yeah, that's very good actually with Brad Pitt and Jonah Hill.
Yeah.
I wish they would do something like that with basketball. I mean, that was a great movie. That's actually good that you mentioned it because I just saw it recently again for like second or third time, and wow, it lives up. It's a great movie. Well, John, thank you, man. I appreciate you coming on. This was fun. Anything else you want to talk about? Any other prediction or anything NBA playoffs related before we go?
Just to say that the Heat are making playoffs, the finals. It's Heat in 5 against the Hawks, Heat in 6 versus the Sixers or Raptors, because Doc might blow that 3-0 lead.
Yeah.
Heat in the finals.
Nice. I like that. I like that confidence. I like that motivation. I also agree. I've been calling it. I think the Heat have a great team defensively, barring no injuries, that they could actually make the finals. So let's hope that happens.
Hmm.
John, thank you for being here, for giving us an hour of your time to hop on, talk Heat, and talk NBA playoffs. Everyone out there, you could check all of John's work via Twitter. His Twitter handle is John. And I'm saying this right?
Yeah.
Jablonka, right?
Yeah.
That's John John. His last name Jablonka, Jablonka and his website simply ballin at SIMPLYBALLIN and check out all his work covering the Miami Heat over there at SB Nation, Hot Hoops, and also the Miami Heat beat. It's a great Miami Heat coverage. Check it out. And also be sure to subscribe and follow on all our Swish social media outlet, guys. We are on Facebook, YouTube, and Spotify under the Swish, and on Instagram and Twitter under the Swish Radio. So thank you for listening, guys. Thank you, John, and we'll catch you next time. Bye bye.